you still want to be governor after all of this, and why, and what do you think you can bring to the table?
More than ever, I want to be governor, and I want to be governor because I look at where the state is going, and I look at what the state's opportunities are, and I can move closer to that.
That's
now.
fine.
But if we don't get the state's economy going, we're not going to be able to take full advantage of the opportunities that we have. I look at at what Sean Parnell has done, and it's wholly inadequate to overcome the challenges we have and to take full advantage of the resource development and the economic growth potential that Alaska could have if we do things right. I look at the lack of progress on education, the lack of progress in terms of combating sexual assault and domestic violence, and I know we can do much, much better.
So when you sort of first started out, it seems to me that you kind of hit pretty heavy with the oil taxes and the filling the pipeline sort of theme. Is that still sort of your primary?
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. Right. And the consequences to Alaska of an empty Trans-Alaska pipeline are so dire and so dramatic that it has to be a top priority. Mm-hmm. We cannot solve those problems with the cosmetic changes that Sean Parnell is proposing. We need to do things bigger. We need to have a big response to a big problem.
And so I know people ask you, how are you going to do that? And you talk about the shift from a tax structure to maybe a contract or a royalty structure. And can you explain that just fairly briefly again?
Look, basically what I propose doing is moving more towards what's called a production sharing contract. I call it the all royalty system. It's the Alaska twist on a type of proposal that's been successfully used in other parts of the country and other parts of the world, and even here in Alaska on various occasions. But you do things by contract. Contracts are constitutionally protected. Because they're constitutionally protected from legislative manipulation, what you can have then is fiscal certainty. With fiscal certainty, you get an improved investment climate, and with an improved investment climate, we should see more investment. With more investment, more production, more jobs, and that's better for the state.
It seems like that'll be a tough sell to the legislature, which seems to have been a little bit set on ACEs, particularly the Democratic leadership, I know, likes ACEs. How do you sell it, and what if you can't sell it? Then what? What's the next step? Or what's plan B, I suppose?
Well, first of all, I'm fully confident that we'll be able to persuade people to move forward the way I've described moving forward with new leases and with non-performing leases. Mm-hmm. At the very least, we can give people the comfort of saying we're trying this as an alternative. And as I've said before, there's a huge role for the legislature in setting some of the contractual terms that I think are going to have to be wrapped in to this proposal. And I expect the legislature to have the same interest I do in ensuring that we get the revenues and the jobs from a full pipeline. Having worked with the legislature for 10 years, there are all kinds of ways to be persuasive.